to Cooks in the Kitchen. Today we're going to make my mom's recipe of potato salad, which I'm thinking might have been my grandma's recipe, so who knows, but I'm going to pass this on to you. It's not a big secret. The idea of this also is it's got a separate kind of a dressing. It's not just mayonnaise thrown on to a bunch of potatoes and stuff. It's going to really have some flavor. So we're going to start off with our potatoes. Now, I have come to prefer red potatoes, or the Yukon Golds are also good. I just like the firmness of them. My mom always used russet potatoes, so I am kind of tweaking her recipe a little. I just have found russets to turn out kind of mushy. So I have almost 3 pounds of red potatoes here. I'm going to boil them, well, I washed them, and I kind of looked around for any kind of spots that needed to come off. This one had a thing. And I'm just going to boil these all whole until they're forkish tender. I want them to be a little bit firm. So we're going to do that. And while those are going, I'll prep all the other ingredients. Okay, so while those potatoes are boiling over here, I'm going to, I'm chopping up the, I don't know what you call it, the stuff that's going in the potato salad. So I had, I think about 3 green onions that I've chopped really finely. Now I'm working on some celery. I'm gonna go with about 3 stalks of it. I remember my whole childhood of my mom making potato salad that it was always taste it and see if you need to put more celery or more green onion or whatever in there. So I'm gonna chop this very, very finely too, because I don't know about you, but neither one of us here in the house like a big old chunk of celery in there. But you gotta have the flavor, because this is just sort of just an important ingredient in that. So I'm gonna just chop all my celery up small, and then I'll do the same with my sweet pickles. Some people prefer dill pickles. I don't understand that, because I want my salad to have a little tangy punch to it. I don't think the dill pickles is gonna do that for me. This is totally, you know what they say, you do you. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep chopping away, and then in a little bit here, we're gonna work on the dressing. Now we're gonna make the dressing that we're gonna put over all of our potato and vegetable mixture when that's all ready to go. So we're starting out with, oh, I guess I should say that the recipe that I go off of that my mom always did was twice as much ingredients, and I've never used that much. But if you're making one of those gigantic potato salads, you're gonna wanna double this. So this is me cutting this in half. So I'm gonna start with 1 egg in this pan. I have a 1/2 cup of water. Then a 1/2 cup of regular white vinegar. Oh wait, quarter, never mind, let's go back. That was a 1/4 cup of water and a 1/4 cup of vinegar. Guess I can't do my math, my half math. Then we're going to use about a 1/2 tablespoon of sugar. I'm sure there's a teaspoon amount for that, but if you see me do this, you know that I just figure it out. Tweak as you go. And this is going to be about 3/4 of a tablespoon. This is going to be our thickener. That looks good. About 3/4 of a teaspoon of flour, and a little salt and pepper. And we might salt and pepper the whole salad later too. It's very likely. Okay. So now we're going to blend this and then take it to the stove. Just want to make sure my egg is blended really well first, and we're careful so we don't end up with scrambled eggs in our sauce. Okay. Now, put this on sort of a medium temperature, and this will take a few minutes while that comes up to temperature. Okay, you can see this is starting to thicken a little bit. kind of like making pudding. Didn't take very long. That was like 5 minutes. So I want to get that nice and thick. A little bit more. Okay, that looks good. Okay, now, oops, I'm gonna go back over here. Oops, wrong door. Now, to that sauce, now we add the mayonnaise and mustard. I know some people like their potato salad just mayonnaise, and I'll eat it because I like potatoes, but it's not the way I love it. So, you know, I don't know how much this is going to be. We just do this until it looks right. That's probably about half a cup or so. I might add a little more than that. And some mustard, because I like it to be yellow. That was probably about like 3 tablespoons or something, I'd guess. Blend that all in together. And we can add more mustard and mayonnaise to the whole salad. This is just one of those taste as you go things. Okay, now I'm just gonna let this sit while we wait for those potatoes. Okay, let's see, this took like about 40 minutes or so boiling, but now you can see the skins are starting to split open, and I can get my fork in there, and they're still firm but not mushy. So I'm going to take those out of the water and let them cool. That's going to take probably 20 minutes of cooling time. Okay, so down to the last of cutting up these potatoes. I'm kind of cutting them in little cubes, so depending on how big the potato is. Some of them are a little mushier than others, but that's good because it just gives lots of different textures in there. So there's my potatoes. Okay, so got the chopped up potatoes. I'm gonna add my pickles. I think that there were little sweet pickles, so there was like 6 of them. I might end up adding more. We'll see. Just depends. And then we have chopped up celery. That was, I think, 2, 3. Do you call them ribs? Mm-hmm. And then this was about 2.5 green onion. I think you could use up some finely chopped red onion if you wanted to instead of green onion, but sticking to my mom's way here. I'm gonna give this just a little toss. Oop, toss it on the floor. I think that's gonna be a good amount of all that stuff. All right. Next, I want to add some eggs. Now, I remember someone telling me one time their mom's number of eggs to salad was 1 egg for every potato, but I'm guessing they were using large potatoes. So I had, I think, was it 8? There were 8 in here. So I'm gonna start with 4 of these. I'm gonna do the fine chop. Uh-oh. I do know how to do this. These are must-have device. Oop. See if I get better at this as I go. I like that it sounds like a piano strings. And the reason that I use another reason I like to use the red potatoes is because it adds that little bit of color. And I like all the colors. Okay, I'm going to start with that because I would like to use an egg for some garnish when we're done. Okay, mix this in. plenty, huh? Hopefully we can pawn some off on our neighbor. Otherwise, I would eat this breakfast, lunch, and dinner because it's one of my favorite things. That's why we never make it. Okay, that's blended pretty well. Now I'm going to add my dressing. I'm going to start with, you know, just pouring some in there and mixing it. And try not to make it too, well, I was going to use this thing. See if this works better. Just sort of folding it. It's definitely going to need more. I think I'm going to use it all. And then if it's not wet enough, I'll just add more mayonnaise, but I think this is going to do the trick. Good.
And while you weren't looking, she put another scump of mayonnaise in there.
Yeah, I did in the sauce, because I just thought that might not be enough. And it's better to have it all blended into that. Okay, now I'm going to add, before I add any salt and pepper, I'm going to taste it, but I definitely want to add some Salad Supreme. The last thing of this mixture we had was a Johnny's product. I didn't say Salad Supreme, but it's kind of a seasoning for your pasta or salads. And it just really makes adds some good flavors and color. Mix that in there. Probably has some paprika in it. Look at that, that's looking perfect. I think I want just a little more of the seasoning in there. Looks pretty good. I think my ratios are good. Okay. Now, let's take a bite and see if it needs more salt or more tang. Because we can add some pickle juice to it. I know that's sort of an ingredient sometimes. Good for me. I don't know if it needs anything more or not. I might add a little bit more salt to it. And then I'm going to put this in another container, but I'll show you what sort of a small version of how my mom always served this. Oh, let's just use this bowl. It'll be fine. So just imagine this is a large bowl and you're going to a picnic and you're bringing potato salad. So you put this in there. Then, you have the sliced egg, but don't slice it twice. Take the nice big pieces out and put those in there like this. And then you could sprinkle a little paprika on top of there. Or how about like a...
Use your Salad Supreme.
Could, or I can even just do this. And then there you have it. There's Kelly's mom's potato salad. Oh, and I was going to say too that this is also the exact same recipe. You could swap out the potatoes for macaroni and make a macaroni salad. Same, 100% same ingredients, and it's really good and will be devoured. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel. There's a button down in the right corner of your video there to subscribe, and be sure to be on track for the next video that we make. So thank you for watching Two Cooks in the Kitchen, and I'll see you next time.